Hey everyone, this is Roto Dojo, and welcome to video 3, the expensive method of doing the green screens I make. This will be using Adobe After Effects. Now, the first thing you need to do is have your footage ready, click New Project, then you need to click New Composition with Footage. Now, I believe I have mine saved somewhere in the Download tab right here. You can rename the file if you want to, I'm not going to personally. Now, we're going to get started here. Now, to green screen it here, After Effects is a very complicated editing software, so I'm going to try to explain it as simple as I can. Click on the video twice. Now you're on the layer panel if you see that. Now what you need to click on is this right here, the Roto Brush tool. Roto Brush 3 is what it's currently at. Now I'll try to grow and shrink this thing. Now how you do this is, well, I'm using this on an Apple computer. How you do it is you hold Command and you move up and down on the mouse. Now, if you want to add things, you just paint it. But if you want to subtract things, you hold Option and it can remove things you don't want. There are other people who've explained this as well, probably much better than I have. But let's get started with painting SpongeBob here. So let's start adding some detail. And let's see what it does. Okay, I'm going to shrink the thing a little bit so I can get more precise detail. Now, this is a common thing I noticed that, After Effects was doing the last time I tried rotoscoping SpongeBob was, it didn't get the lines precise on his detail here, so I'll try to tell it that that is important too, without, leaving that part out. It takes a little while to edit this first frame, but trust me, it is important here. You need to make sure you get this detail exact. Now, of course, you can always zoom in, hold space to move the thing around, and use Command to shrink it, and just keep getting the detail in. Try to get this first frame perfect. It's important because once you do this, this is the frame that After Effects will use as an example, and it'll try to make it look this way the whole video by, when its movement starts going through, and see how it looks. Now, there's other ways of testing to see how it looks. Down here on the bottom here, you can click this one, the alpha mode, kind of similar to what we saw on Runway ML. Then there is, this mode right here. If you click on this, you see this is the normal mode where you see the purple line. If you click on it, one time on the second line here, you get this. Very good way of doing it. I use this frequently. Or you can use this mode right here, where you can see the background in red, but you can see the subject without it. You can change the colors right here if you click on the fourth one here. I'm not going to do that though. So I personally like to have it like this. This really tells me what it's supposed to look like. And down here, you can adjust the speed to get specific frames. So you can go frame by frame to make sure it adjusts. Now, it's going to take a second for it to propagate it, though. Now, we're going to look at it and see how well it's tracking it. I can't tell if you can see those lines as well as I can, but if it's too difficult to see, I will try to switch it to this mode right here. So that way you can see the background and you can see SpongeBob pretty well. Now I'm going to move it slowly, and you can see right here, it's tracking it very well. Now, one way of doing this, because again, do it slowly if you're having issues with it specifically when you're editing this. Now, why I do it this way really slowly is to make sure there is no mistakes. Like right there, right when I moved ahead, there's a mistake right here. Fix that. Good. And then you just keep moving with the mouse. But again, if you're confident in knowing that it's done, like you can press space on the keyboard and it'll play it automatically, and After Effects will do its best to track it. Now again, I am tempted to try that, but many times it doesn't end up being what you want it to look like. But I'm going to give it a shot just to give you an example here. I'm going to hit space on the keyboard and see what it does, as it'll play automatically and do its best to track it. As you see right here, it's moving very slowly, tracking the movement. If it makes any mistakes, I hit space again and correct it. There's a 1-minute tutorial video I have seen online that explains this very well. Unfortunately, it's a short, it's cropped, so it's not very easy to watch compared to a normal widescreen video that you would normally watch. Now, I think I may have spotted a mistake there. So how to fix that, I'm not sure if you see that little line there, that's where I am in the video. I just click on this, hold it, drag it all the way to where I get to where I need to be. Now I'm going to rewind it. Yeah, there was a mistake right there. So I'm going to fix that right there. Okay, it's fixed. Now hit play by hitting the space bar, and we just continue watching it to see if it's made any other mistakes. Now, so far, I'm noticing mistakes are usually happening around here or sometimes here. Now, I'm going to pause it again. I'm not sure if I spotted a mistake there while I was explaining that. Let's see. I'm not going to count that as a mistake right there. I mean, you could say it does look like one a little bit, but I don't think that'll be a problem later on. But again, we don't want SpongeBob to have 3 legs. So let's try to, cut this part out here. Just gotta fix that detail there. It's a tricky process to do, but it is satisfying in the end when you get it right. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Move forward. Okay, I gotta fix that. Okay, let's see how that looks. So we go from here to here to here to here. Okay, it seems to be tracking it properly. I'm going to hit space and let's see how it goes. Now we're about halfway through the video. As you can see on this little green line right here, this is where I am. That's where the end is. It's slowly moving its way across as it keeps going. Now, forgive me if you're hearing the sound of a squeaky chair right now or the keyboard. That is literally me touching the thing right now. And I'm currently sitting in a chair that has a tendency to squeak a little bit, as you can hear right there. It does that sometimes. But anyway, focusing on this, you may notice a mistake that I haven't yet, but so far it looks clean. It looks fresh. It doesn't have any mistakes. I just keep watching it until it's done. And again, a good way of spotting a mistake is after it's done and it plays in normal speed, you go back to that mode where everything is black. And you can look at the subject and look at the black and see if there was any mistakes there. Now, it could be harder to see it that way in some instances, but that may not be the case here. So see, it's done tracking, it's moving in real time. I'm going to switch the mode to this and see how it looks. See, that looks really good, doesn't it? Very good. So now that we have the roto finished, that it doesn't seem to have any mistakes for the most part. Now we hit pause. I'm going to zoom out. Now, when you're done with your roto, when you're finished with it, you click freeze. Now it's going to save all the changes here. Now, fair to warn you, it's going to take a while for this thing to finish freezing. But while it's currently loading, I'll keep talking about the things that I've learned using After Effects for this specific purpose. Now, one tool that you may need to use in some instances, not in this case, is the Refined Edge tool. Now, that is specifically up where the roto brush is up here. How you access it is specifically you need to hold Option and then W, and it switches to a blue mode, and that is specifically used on curly hair because you don't want a straight line covering a curly hair image. Specifically, when you're doing a cutout, you want it to look more detailed. And to do that, you need to use the Refine Edge tool, scan it with that, and it'll get the detail more precise. That's how you get it to work specifically on those instances. There are other tutorials you can look at on YouTube about After Effects, how to get those Refine Edge tools. I could, link in the description, or possibly in the future community post, I will show this website coming up. But yeah, as you can see right here, it is currently halfway finished with its loading process. I'll just keep rambling on until it's done, or better yet, I could just skip ahead, but why do that? I mean, there's a lot to talk about here. Because again, like I mentioned, After Effects is a very complicated editing software. One other thing here is there's other tools you can use here, like contrast, the feather. I don't recommend touching this. I think it's fine the way it is. There's also a reduced chatter feature if there's too many squiggly lines in the roto. Fair warning though, sometimes when you use the Refined Edge tool or specifically reduced chatter, when you use the reduced chatter feature, sometimes it may remove areas of the subject that you want in. If you try to scan it back in, it won't always respond. So keep that in mind when using reduced chatter, as I don't use it very often myself. I only use it when it feels like it's necessary. There's other tools you can also use, like use motion blur if you want it to look more detailed, but at the same time, it takes longer to process when you use that mode. Okay, so now that that's done, you're going to go back to composition. And now you can see it's done, but now it's black. And SpongeBob's shoes are black. And there's a lot of different things about his outfit that are black here. So you don't want that. To get in the green background, you got to click File, Import, then hit File again. So now I have it saved on desktop, and I have it right here, green PNG. I click on this, and after it's imported, you're going to go down here, click back on the U-Cut where it is. Now click on the second one here where it says PNG and drag it underneath here, underneath this. Now that it's underneath here, you can't see it, but if I pull this little corner here, there you go. Now you've got the green. I'm going to pull this at the beginning here, right here at the beginning, and I'm going to squeeze this out here just to make sure that it extends through the whole thing here. See, it doesn't right there. Make sure to stretch that, make sure it fits through the whole thing. I'm going to stretch it some more. Stretch it. All right, and let's hit play. And right there. This actually looks even better than what we had on Runaway ML, if you really think about it. That's why I said that this technically is the best method to make green screens. It's my main method I use currently, but the thing is, After Effects, you need a really powerful computer to run this. And the fact that, it's expensive on its own. Now, it's like 4 gigabytes to install. You have to create an Adobe account, and it's like $23 a month. I have been able to pay for it, but I'm not sure if any other people can. That's why I said this is the expensive option. But, the free option, Runaway ML, is very good too. That's what I was using the last few years before I was able to afford this one. So, like I mentioned, this is my method for how I do green screens. I've shown you 3 examples with SpongeBob here. Maybe later on I can show you more advanced ones where it gets more complicated. But this is just a simple format of how I make my green screens for the channel. Hopefully you can learn a thing or two from this. Maybe you've already known some of these features. Maybe you learned something new. If you want to make green screens yourself, go ahead and try this out and see if it works for you, because everybody has different ideas of what they want to see cut out and inserted into different areas. I mean, everybody loves these internet memes. So yeah, if you want to make these yourself, go ahead and try it out. This is Roto Dojo, and good luck making edits.